You ever wonder what makes a story, really stick with you? How some simple little tale can teach you this huge lesson? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on storytelling itself. We're going to take one simple fable and break it down piece by piece to see how it works. Let's get into it. So, every great story has to start somewhere, right? It's kind of like the before picture. You have to see the ordinary, everyday world first so that when things get crazy later, you really feel that impact. And this is where our story kicks off. For our main characters, 7 little cats, that somewhere is a place called the Thousand Garden. And even the name, right? It just sounds beautiful, lush, maybe even a little bit magical. This is their once upon a time. Now, in fancy storytelling terms, this first part is called the exposition. And the goal is super simple. It's all about showing us what's normal. This is absolutely crucial because think about it. If we don't care about this peaceful little world, why would we care when it's suddenly in danger? And man, what a perfect little world it is. The story just paints this picture of total peace. It's a warm day, you've got flowers blooming, butterflies floating around, and our 7 cats are just playing, not a care in the world. It feels completely safe. But, in any good story, when things are this perfect, you just know something is about to go very, very wrong. And that's our cue for the next phase, the rising action. Because let's be real, a story can't stay peaceful forever. That would be boring. Conflict is the engine that drives a narrative forward. So something has to come along and just shatter that peace we just saw. And check this out. This is how clearly the story sets up the conflict. It's a classic showdown. On one side, you have the small, peaceful cats just minding their own business. On the other, these 2 big, aggressive dogs. The power difference is just, boom, right there in your face. They're not just other animals. They are intruders. And just like that, the peace is shattered. That loud, aggressive barking isn't just noise. It's the sound of the threat becoming real. Then they charge, and suddenly that beautiful, safe garden isn't safe at all anymore. Okay, now this is a really key moment. What do these little cats do when faced with something so terrifying? Well, their hearts are pounding, for sure, but they don't scatter, they don't run. They huddle up and stand their ground, together. This one detail tells us everything we need to know about their courage. That idyllic little garden is gone. Now it's just pure tension. The dogs are closing in fast. The entire world shrinks down to that tiny space between the cats and the dogs. There's nowhere to go. You feel that tension building? That's what rising action is all about. And this is it, the point of no return. The attack is about to happen, the dogs are right there, and it looks like there is absolutely no way out for our heroes. This is that moment where it feels like all hope is lost. And right there, at the absolute peak of that tension, bam, we hit the climax. This is the story's big turning point, the explosive moment where everything comes to a head. Something has to break. I mean, the odds are just terrible, right? They're small, the dogs are big, it's a total mismatch, so who could possibly save them? And then, out of nowhere, a new player enters the game. Slipping out from the bushes comes a large black cat. He isn't one of the 7. He's a total outsider. So who is this guy? This is where the story gets really clever. He's not your typical shining hero. The neighborhood cats all think he's kind of scary. He's a loner, looks really serious, maybe even a little angry. Based on his reputation, he is the last one you would expect to step in. He's the definition of an unlikely champion. And his actions are so swift, so absolute, there's zero hesitation. He appears without a sound, leaps and attacks with such ferocity, we're talking sharp claws, fierce eyes, that the much bigger dogs are just completely shocked. They turn tail and run. The whole thing is over in seconds. Okay, so with the big fight over, you can kind of breathe again. The story now moves into the falling action. All that tension starts to release, and we get to see the immediate consequences of what just happened. Peace returns to the garden. The threat is gone. And the black cat? Just as quickly and silently as he appeared, he turns and disappears. He doesn't stick around for a thank you or anything. His solitary nature is still intact, which honestly makes his selfless act even more powerful. The action might be over, but the story isn't finished, not by a long shot. Now we get to the final and maybe most important phase, the denouement. This is where we find the real meaning. It's not just about what happened, but what it all meant. And this one single line of dialogue, this is the entire point of the story. It's the big aha moment. The striped cat speaks for all of them, admitting that their first judgment was completely wrong. Their perception was just shattered by reality. This is the big idea the whole story was built to explore. The cats had a preconceived notion, this belief they formed without any real knowledge, that the black cat was scary and mean. But his actions forced them to see the truth. So what are the big takeaways here? Well, first, the classic one. Don't judge a book by its cover. A serious, even scary look can hide a really brave and kind heart. And second, we saw how much community matters. The 7 little cats were brave because they stood together, and their protector helped them because they were all part of the same community. And this is the final, powerful moral of the story. It goes beyond who looks friendly and who doesn't. It speaks to this fundamental idea of looking out for your own. The black cat wasn't their friend, but he was another cat. And in that dangerous moment, that was all that mattered. And that brings us to the end. The story of these cats isn't really just about them, is it? It's a mirror for our own lives. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When was the last time you were the striped cat, realizing your first impression of someone missed the most important part of who they are?